Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. It keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Lillie Holmes. Nothing has changed, still spelled with an I-E. We are going to talk about a broad range of things today. I hope everyone is doing well, everyone is staying healthy, washing your hands, all that good stuff. We're going to start out talking about a lesser-known artist in the music industry, Jake Miller. We're also going to talk about one of the best girl bands of the 2010s, Fifth Harmony. We are also going to get into the best chill songs. Everyone can probably agree there's a good song for every type of mood, and there's certain ones you want to listen to when you're just trying to chill out. We're also going to talk about the current iTunes top 10 charts in the United States. Like I said, Jake Miller is, I would say, a lesser-known artist in the music industry. Not a lot of people know who he is in comparison to, the bigger people, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, people like that. He is 28 years old. He was born in Washington, D.C., and he grew up a large amount of his life in the Weston, Miami, Florida area. He became, kind of, you could say, bigger, or I don't know if bigger is the right word. He became more prevalent in the music industry around 2012. In 2011, he won a national talent show competition for Samsung and T-Mobile. It was called a Kick It with the Band, and he was awarded $35,000 to use it for his music career to kind of jump ahead, get started, because I'm sure a lot of people know if you are not signed with a big label, getting, the word out there and getting your music out can be very expensive. So the $35,000 awarded to him to help him out, get started. And I think he started out, decently strong. He did some really amazing, shows. Like he opened for Mac Miller at a breast cancer awareness concert in 2012. Everyone knows who Mac Miller was. Unfortunately, he has passed away. I'm sure everyone knows that. In 2012, he wasn't as popular compared to, 2015 or 16 or anything like that. But Mac Miller was still a pretty popular artist, and a lot of people knew who he was, especially when he had a song with Ariana Grande. So opening for Mac Miller, I think that's a pretty big thing for, someone just starting out his career in the industry. He had a EP called Spotlight that got released in July of 2012. He had a very small group of fans, but a loyal group of fans. We're kind of in that day and age of music and technology where so many people have the opportunity to use the internet as a platform to get the word out. So he was pretty big on YouTube. He would do a lot of covers of different songs. I know he did a cover of Flo Rida's Whistle is one of them. He had a decent amount of music on SoundCloud as well. So the fans he had were very, very loyal, and they were very, very excited to hear his EP Spotlight. That came out in July of 2012. In 2013, he signed a deal with E1 Music, where he released his EP, The Road Less Traveled, in April of 2013. I really like the album, The Road Less Traveled. It has some really good songs on it. One of my favorites would be A Million Lives. That was the single for the EP. It is a good song. It talks about, he may not have made $1 million yet in his career, but he's touched 1 million people, which, don't know if he actually touched 1 million people with his music or anything like that, but he realized some stuff that he was impacting people's lives in, very big ways, and he was proud of it. So that's kind of what the song is about. I'd say, one of his biggest albums is this next one. It is his, full studio debut album, full length. It was Us Against Them, came out in 2013. This was, I'd say, again, his bigger album. I heard about it a lot more, and I wasn't hearing the songs on the radio, but I was hearing them when I was out in places like shopping or stuff like that. I don't know if he, got any radio singles out there, but he was being played in other places. So that's really great for him. I'd say Us Against Them is probably my favorite album out of all his. I am not up to date with his newer music. I kind of, lost touch with him in around 2016, 2017. Because I just wasn't really feeling one of his newer albums. So I really haven't listened since then, but he has released a decent amount of music. I'll tell you guys later on why Us Against Them is my favorite album when we talk about my favorite song from him. He signed a deal with Warner Brothers Records, after leaving E1 Music. And I'm sure everyone has heard of Warner Brothers Records. Warner Brothers in general is a very huge, huge company. They have so many promotional opportunities, and they can really, really get the word out. So I think that was a phenomenal opportunity for him. I saw Jake Miller twice in, I'd say when I was younger, you could say in his career. He's still, doing music, but I saw him twice. I saw him perform. He did a pre-show at a Jingle Ball in 2012 for 93.3 FLZ in Tampa, Florida. He was doing the pre-show outside of the arena before the show started. And then I also saw him when he opened up for Fifth Harmony in 2016 on their 727 tour. I think he did a really good job. What I can say was the fans didn't seem too engaged with his music when he was playing. And I think he's a great singer. I like a decent amount of his songs. He can sing and he can rap. And I think that is a great tool to have so that way you can kind of switch up your sound if one isn't working, or so you can, sing and rap one song and give it a lot more diversity and, keep people engaged while they're listening to a song. So I knew his songs when I saw him at the Fifth Harmony 727 concert, but not a lot of other people did. I think everyone can agree, if you're an opener for, music at concerts and stuff, it can be kind of hard. And actually, it's just openers for any act, whether it's theater, a comedy show. People didn't come there to see the openers, I'd say 85 to 95% of the time. So that's a hard gig to play. I mean, in some cases, like on Justin Bieber's Believe tour, Ariana Grande was opening up for him at the time, and she got a lot of fans there, and a lot of people were very engaged. But that's one of the smaller, I'd say, times that stuff happens. So opening was a hard gig for Jake Miller to pull off, but I think he did well, and I think it helped him, more people get the word out about him for people who weren't really sure who he was before that. So after the Fifth Harmony tour, 727 tour ended, in June of 2017, he announced that he was going to be leaving Warner Brothers Records a little bit after he announced his newer album. At the time, it was called 2 a.m. in LA. I personally think this was the downfall of his career. He still is doing well. I mean, he's obviously doing better than me. I'm not out here doing tours or have fans or anything like that. But leaving a record label like Warner Brothers, I think, was not a smart move. I'm not exactly sure why he decided to leave. He might have felt like he had too many constraints, and that's a big thing we've talked about before in the music industry. Artists can often be taken advantage of and not have much freedom with their music. And what I can say is about Jake Miller, he does truly love music and he loves what he does. A kind of fun fact about him, he was at his college orientation at the University of Miami when he got the call that he was given the opportunity with a label to be signed and make music. And he kind of had a choice. He's like, well, do I stay in school and get my degree, or do I go off and start making music like I truly want to do and I love to do? And because, at the time, it wasn't really an option for him to do both because of, time constraints and stuff like that. And, he walked away and he's like, I'm going to go make music. I'm going to do what I love. So he really does love music and he really is passionate about it. So maybe, Warner Brothers wasn't giving him all the freedom he wanted, and that could be why he left. But I don't think he's done as well since he has left Warner Brothers. Like I mentioned earlier in his career, he was opening for Mac Miller. He sang at the Y100 Jingle Ball, where he was singing alongside Cody Simpson and a few other well-known artists. He performed at I believe it was the European Music Awards, their pre-show, and that's for MTV. I mean, MTV is a huge platform. So are there, the European Music Awards. So I think he was doing really, really well at the time, but I'd say since leaving Warner Brothers, he has gone down or not doing as well as I think he could. Now, I'm not a huge fan of him. I just know who he is. And, if I hear a song I like, I'll listen to it. So that is just kind of my opinion looking, from the outside in. In 2018, he went and he signed with Red Music, which is a label, a part of Sony Music. So Sony Music is huge. Sony in general is huge. I believe he's still with them, but he also is considered an independent artist. So I don't know how much Red Music with Sony is doing for him. In the last year, it has been very hard for artists to prosper and stuff like that, especially one like Jake Miller, because even though he does have a good group of fans, he is not hugely popular. He has done 7 tours from 2012 to 2019, and that's a lot for an artist. So I think he specifically loves to perform, and that's how he got word out about his music and things like that. So I think not being able to really go and tour anything in the last year has hurt him, along with, still leaving Warner Brothers Records. He just recently announced he is doing another tour, now that we're kind of coming out of this pandemic, people are getting vaccinated and things are slowly becoming safer. So he announced that I want to say it's 20 to 30 shows. And almost every single one of his tours he's gone on, they've been nationwide. So he's gone across the United States, and I want to say, they're largely sold out. And I have one friend, she really loves him. She's met him multiple times. She goes to almost all his shows. And he has meet and greets at his shows as well. So, and people always seem so ecstatic to meet him. So he has a great group of fans, like I mentioned before. And, I don't know if he's content with where he is. Some artists, they'll say, I don't care about winning a Grammy. I don't care if I sell out stadiums. If I'm making music and I'm touching people and I'm bringing, happiness with my sounds, then I'm fulfilled. So I'm not sure if that's kind of where he is or if he wants to be bigger. Some people are always, chasing the next thing, especially in, Hollywood and stuff like that. So he may be after something like that, or he may be just fine where he is. Only one of his songs got on the Billboard charts, and it was the Billboard 200 charts. His song First Flight Home peaked at 30, and that was in 2014. This song First Flight Home is one of my favorite songs by him. So, and peaking at 30 out of 200 is awesome. Getting on the Billboard charts at all, like I mentioned before, is awesome. I think if he would have stayed with Warner Brothers, again, he may have done better. He may have, reached Billboard charts more frequently, maybe on higher levels, but you never know. Again, my opinion, looking from the outside in. He has some great songs, and they definitely touch people. The first one I'm going to talk about here is called Steven. It is from one of his earlier albums, The Road Less Traveled. This song is really, really sad. You could say it is about a young man named Steven, constantly bullied, experienced a lot of hard stuff in school, and eventually he commits suicide. Jake Miller raps in the song, and it is very, 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 it tugs on your heartstrings for sure. Even if you haven't been personally affected by suicide by your friends or family or someone in your life, or even if you've never lost someone, it is just very real. And I think it could do so well if, more people heard it, because I think it could really make an impact. Suicide is a horrible thing that it's talked about, but it is not talked about enough, unfortunately. And some people might say the song is really sad and depressing and no one wants to hear it, but it almost will create a platform to talk about stuff like this. So I really like it, and it really tugs on your heartstrings, and it just says so much. The next one that I mentioned before is First Flight Home. Really, really enjoy this song. It is basically about, he's away, he's been touring, he hasn't been able to see his partner in a long time, and he finally gets to come home and see them, and it is just, awesome, that kind of amazing thing. I'm sure a lot of people have experienced stuff like that. Maybe not everyone is out on tour, but you're maybe away at school or for work, or you just had something else going on. And whether it's your partner or friend, family member, whoever, you just get so excited to finally come home, and it just feels so good. Upbeat song, he raps. It's really nice. The next one is a song I also mentioned before, A Million Lives. He really is saying, he talks about 3 different instances in the song. I do not know if they are based off true events or not, but 3 instances where he met people that really explained to him that his music changed their lives and helped them get through so many different things. And that's where he says, I haven't made a million, but I've touched a million lives. And that's kind of where I think it comes in, where he's talking about like he is, trying to move people and touch people with his music, whether it be about preaching about, stuff like suicide where no one wants to talk about, or just talking about coming up from the bottom. He sings in a lot of his songs about, odds were almost stacked against him because he wasn't discovered, you could say. And a lot of people aren't slowly discovered. They kind of get big and, snap of a finger, stuff like that. And Jake Miller kind of slowly worked his way up to where he got. So that's it. It's just a great song. And the last one on the list here that I really enjoy is My Couch. That is from his first official full-length album, Us Against Them. It is just a fun song, talk about just rather stay at home with your partner instead of going out to the club or anything like that. Just sitting on the couch. He says some things like eating Chinese food, furry Ugg slippers, and bowl Lucky Charms. It's a really fun song to listen to, really cool, and, lighthearted, light felt. So Jake Miller is definitely very talented in multiple different avenues. He can sing, he can rap. He definitely has passion in his songs, and I think he has potential to be very big in the music industry. And to be honest, I would like to see him, get bigger and bigger. And again, he might be content where he is. He may not be. So I'm curious to see how far he can get. After we come back from the break, we're going to talk about Fifth Harmony, one of the biggest girl groups in the 2010s. Don't forget, later on, we're going to talk about the iTunes Top 10 charts in the United States. We will be right back.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. We are going to be transitioning from Jake Miller to Fifth Harmony. Also, stick around because later on we're going to talk about the top 10 from the iTunes charts in the United States. I'm sure most of you have heard of Fifth Harmony at least once. They weren't as popular as like Justin Bieber or anyone like that, but they still, made a decent amount of segue through the music industry in their time. Fifth Harmony was a 5-girl group. Not a band, but a group of 5 girls who sang. There was Allie, Normani, Dinah, Lauren, and Camila. I'd say the most popular one out of those at this moment is Camila Cabello. She's dating Shawn Mendes, and her solo career has been prospering as it should. She is very, very talented. I think that, after Camila left, the group definitely fell through as far in their career. But let's talk about all that. Like One Direction, Fifth Harmony had a very similar, experience. They all tried out as solo artists on the X Factor in 2012, and Simon Cowell decided that they would all work better in a group than solo artists. So he put them all together, and they signed with Simon Cowell's record label, and they also signed with L.A. Reid's record label after they finished in 3rd on the X Factor in 2012 as well. And I think this was a great opportunity for them. I mean, Simon Cowell and L.A. Reid especially, one of the biggest people in the music industry. He is so popular. He has worked with so many great artists, and it was a great opportunity for them. And I think it really helped them, and Simon Cowell as well. I mean, Simon Cowell helped, create One Direction and, one of the biggest boy bands in the 2000s period, right? So great opportunity for them. Their first single was Miss Moving On, and that was the single for their Better Together album. Miss Moving On, I believe, is the first song I ever heard by them, and I would qualify myself as a pretty big fan. I kept up with a lot of them. I followed them, on all platforms. I went to their concerts. I was also dying to hear their new music. I was always watching their backstage interviews, keeping up with what they were doing. Mind you, I also was, preteen and then teenager, so I was fangirling to the max. As I mentioned before, I am a fangirl at heart. It's what I do, and it's what I'm best at. So their album, Better Together, their first official one, which the single Miss Moving On was from, was certified gold in the United States. That is awesome for them, considering it was their first album. So they got off to a great start, I think. Their debut studio album, Reflection, that came out in 2015, I would say Reflection is tied for my favorite album out of 2 of them. So it's tied with another one to be my favorite album out of all their albums, and we'll talk about that later. Reflection was also certified gold in the United States. No surprise there. It's a great album, and they all have such great voices. Something really awesome about their album Reflection is it was triple platinum certification in the United States. And it did as well as hitting top 10 in 13 different countries. Top 10 in 13 different countries. That is, oh my gosh. I mean, if you think about just how big the United States is as a country, think of, similar size of, 13 countries. I mean, that's just huge. That is such a great accomplishment for them. And again, they deserve it. So talented. I saw them for their 727 album, which came out in 2016, I believe it was. Their first single was, I want to say it was Work From Home. It was, I'd say, their most popular album. I heard Work From Home a lot. Like, I was hearing that on the radios. that was being performed at multiple award shows, that it was being played everywhere. So that is definitely, I'd say, one of their most popular ones. Something really cool about Work From Home is it got its first top 10 single on the Billboard Hot 100. Being on the Billboard charts, as we spoke about before, is a huge accomplishment, and everyone should be proud of it that was involved. And fans should obviously be proud of their favorite artist for doing it. And just getting in the top 10. Wow, that is amazing. Being in the top 10 is, it seems almost easy, when we look at The Weeknd and people like that who just stay there for weeks and weeks and months on end, but it's not that easy. I mean, it's a really hard accomplishment. So for Fifth Harmony to get in the top 10 with the single was so huge for them. And I kind of mentioned this before with Jake Miller. Fifth Harmony was created. They were all talented individuals by themselves. So putting them together and they mesh well together. We've spoken about before, not all artists, and not everybody in general, whether you're a painter or an actor or whatever, not everyone meshes well together. Fortunately, they all meshed very well together. Hence why Simon Cowell was like, hey, let's form a group band similar to One Direction. So they were created almost like a machine, you could say. So I almost feel like that's maybe why they didn't do as well beforehand. Because, Work From Home being their first song in the Billboard Hot 100, I think they have other songs that definitely could have made it in the Billboard Top 100, like their song Boss. I love that song. It is one of my favorites. It is off their album Reflection. And Reflection definitely did very well, triple platinum certification in the US and all that stuff. But similar with Jake Miller, if they maybe would have almost not became a one-hit wonder, but got the popularity of one-hit wonders, I think they would have done better. Because when you form a group like Fifth Harmony or, One Direction, who I would say is an anomaly with their fame, the gradualness of promoting them, I think, can be a huge challenge. I've mentioned before, I personally don't like stuff that is shoved down my throat in terms of being, told what's popular right now and what I should be listening to. And that's not exactly what happened with Fifth Harmony, but, the advertising for them and, promotion and stuff almost came out of nowhere, you could say. So, I think maybe if they would have started out on YouTube or, something out, maybe a local talent show, if that's how they got discovered, they may have done well, hitting Billboard Top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts right off the bat. But again, this is just my opinion. I don't work in the music industry. This is outside looking in, and just from what I know from my experience and all the years that I keep up with, how the industry works and stuff like that. Billboard named Fifth Harmony to be the best girl group of the 2010s. That is such a huge accomplishment. I mean, women power, first off. I'm a woman, I love to see women succeed and do the best they can, especially in the music industry because I love music. And Billboard, one of the biggest names in music as far as charts and popularity and all that stuff, for them to say that is so great. So I'm really happy that they got that opportunity and they got that name and they achieved that I think that will help all of them as solo artists now, because again, they are all solo now. They went on a hiatus in 2018. We all know what going on a hiatus means when it's a band. It is nice words for breaking up. Something really cool about, Fifth Harmony's Work From Home that was in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 was it was the first hit in the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 by a girl group in a decade on that chart. So again, women power, breaking all these records and all these things. It is awesome, and it's great for younger people and younger women, especially, to see all these barriers that are being broken down. And I'm upset that they broke up, but nothing lasts forever. So Fifth Harmony won 4 VMAs, won a music award, American Music Award, and like I mentioned earlier, Billboard named them biggest girl group of the 2010s, and they also won a Billboard Women in Music Award. Again, girl power, strive on. So I was a huge fan of them. Like I mentioned, I saw them in Carson on their 727 tour. That was the same one where Jake Miller opens for them. And they did a great job of having the crowd really invested with what they were doing. I'm sure a lot of people may know what I'm saying when they go to concerts. It is not always the easiest to, keep crowds engaged, even if people did pay for you to be there. They put on a great show. They all sounded great. They had good visuals in the back. So again, very upset they broke up. I personally think that, Camila Cabello leaving in 2016 was their downfall. They released music after that, and their song Down with Gucci Mane, that did very, very well. My boyfriend always says how much he hates that song, and that's another song he wants to rip his ears off when he hears it, when I play it in the car. He's very dramatic, as I've mentioned before. But that song did very well without Camila. So I don't know. I think it's a Justin Timberlake, Zayn, One Direction thing. When somebody leaves, it's so hard to keep going. I was so happy I got to see all 5 of them perform together before she left. I saw them in September of 2016, and Camila announced she was leaving in December of 2016. So, like I said, I was a huge fan. I was very fortunate. I got to see them all perform together before they went on their indefinite hiatus in 2013, aka when they broke up. Camila is definitely doing the best in her solo career, I would say. Normani is doing fabulous, and so is Lauren. They again, every single one of the members have beautiful voices, but some are doing well than others. I believe it's Allie. She is a spokesperson for a few different things, some health awareness things with her mother. So she's working on a solo career as well as working on different platforms to spread some awareness about some things she feels very close to her heart about. I'd say it's hard to narrow down my favorite songs for them, but I've done it. I mentioned the first one was Miss Moving On, first song I ever heard by them, the first single for their first album. Great song. If you haven't heard it, surprise, surprise, it's kind of like a breakup song, hence Miss Moving On. It's about someone, they're moving on from this relationship and they're going to find themselves and they're going to be who they want to be, stuff like that. The next one is off their Better Together album called Better Together. This is kind of the opposite of Miss Moving On. It's almost like a complete 180 because Miss Moving On is about, I don't need you anymore. I'm going to do me. I'm going to find myself. I'm going to love myself. And then Better Together is like, no, we are better together. We need to be together. It's just meant to be. So complete 180s of each other, even though they're on the same album. But I still like it. It's a good song. The next song is also off the Better Together album. It is Leave My Heart Out of This. This one is in the middle of Miss Moving On and Better Together, if that makes sense, because it's about a heart is telling you one thing and your brain is telling you another. And I'm sure we have all been in that position, whether it be in a romantic relationship, platonic relationship, any kind of thing, whether you're just deciding to do the right or wrong thing in any situation. A lot of people, your heart tells you one thing, your brain is telling you another. So that is what the song is about. And, it's in my head, it's in the middle of, oh, should I leave, this person, hence the Miss Moving On until I go find myself? Or is it on the other end of, oh, we're better together, my heart wants you? So that's kind of where I have those 2 songs, or not those 2, those 3 songs laid out in a visual, you could say on a line graph in my head. The next one I mentioned before is Boss. This is a great song. I really love it. They mentioned Michelle Obama in it. It is literally just talking about being a boss. You're going to make your money. You're strong. You're a beautiful, powerful woman, and you can do whatever it is you want to. So it is great women empowerment, great empowerment for young people in general. Great song. And the music video is really cool as well. So just absolute hit. I think this song could have done very, very well if, it was marketed a little better. It was performed a few times on the music awards. And, I really liked it. And I think a lot of people know of it, but it didn't really break much leeway on the Billboard charts. So, and I'm very curious why. I feel like it's kind of almost definition of pop music, especially around the time it came out in, 2015. So it's really shocking that it didn't do better. So the last one on the list here, we have Brave, Honest, Beautiful featuring Meghan Trainor. This is kind of another, women empowerment song, like dance like Beyonce, shake like Shakira, all that kind of stuff. So great song, women empowerment, and sends a really good message. And I'm almost curious if they were pushed too much to sing about stuff like this, and that might have led them to some kind of a breakup or something like that. Or, because when they broke up, they kind of went with separate labels. So, I always wonder about stuff like that. But this song has a great message, and so do a lot of their other songs. And, that's what makes me almost such a huge fan of them, because, they broke so many records and they preached about a lot of good things. And they were a great role model for me when I was younger, and so many other people. And I believe they still are, even as solo artists. So they will forever be one of my favorites. I'm hoping they do some kind of a reunion tour in the next few years, or a song or anything like that. So after we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the best songs to chill and relax to, just, calm down, nothing too headbanging or anything like that. And also later on, we're going to talk about iTunes Top 10 in the United States. We'll be back in just a little while.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be, visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, everybody, switching gears from Fifth Harmony to the chillest songs to listen to when you really just want to lay back and relax and you don't really want to hear any head-banging type music. We all have different moods. Sometimes we want to hear sad songs. Sometimes we want to hear really upbeat songs to dance. And sometimes we want to listen to really chill songs that can just keep you relaxed. I, get in those kind of moods where it's like there's stuff that is just too loud and it's too heavy. And for me to say something is too loud, it is saying a lot, because I always have my volume maxed up. I am always getting those iPhone notifications that, the audio is too high and it is harmful to my hearing. So I do love loud music, and the louder the better. But, also I like to just sit back and relax and listen to some, you could say, slow down songs with some quieter tones and beats to it. I've compiled a list here. Nothing is in any kind of particular order, just stuff that I think is relaxing and good to listen to. Some of it is, has a lot of meaning behind it, some of the songs, some of them not really, just, again, more relaxing stuff. You could say some of them are a lot more calming than other songs. The first one I have on the list here is the Save Your Tears remix with The Weeknd featuring Ariana Grande. This remix just got released a few days ago, so it is brand new, just out here. It's already doing well on the charts, but I like this better than the original Save Your Tears without Ariana Grande. It sounds a lot better with Ariana. I think she adds a nicer, calm down tone to it. Save Your Tears is, similar to the song Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, which has, it's not exactly fast paced, but it is fast paced at the same time. So I think, putting Ariana in this remix slows it down and gives it a calmer tone to it and makes it, easier to listen to. And Ariana has such a soothing voice, as does The Weeknd. So putting them together, it's no surprise they have such a hit here already. Next on the list, we have the song Phases by Pretty Much. I'm not familiar with, the group Pretty Much, but I really love this song Phases. I discovered it on a Spotify discovery list, a year or two ago when I was just browsing around looking for some new music. And I really enjoy this one. It is, about, they're just singing. They'll wait for somebody while they're going through their phases of life, because I'm sure everyone knows everyone goes through different phases, and sometimes you break up with a romantic relationship to go through those kind of things. And that's what this song is about. It is slowed down for sure. It is not too heavy or too loud to listen to. It's, it's just very soothing, and all the voices of the group have very soothing voices as well. So just a great song to listen to, especially when you were trying to relax. The next one we have on the list here is Mood Remix by 24 Karat Golden featuring Justin Bieber, J Balvin, and Ian Dior. I am saying the remix here because the remix has some Spanish music in it. And not Spanish music, Spanish singing, And Spanish music is very calming. I mentioned it before. I don't understand Spanish. I don't speak it, but I love listening to Spanish music because it's just it sounds so beautiful, and I'm just envious that I don't know it. I should probably learn the language at some point. It would be very, very helpful. However, adding in, the Spanish singing into the Mood remix really, really, I think, helps a soothing part of it. Because, the original version of the song, it wasn't too loud and heavy to begin with, but it was definitely on a scale of, pop songs, a little bit more on the upbeat side. If you're looking at one end is upbeat and the other end is slowed down, and then you have the middle, it's a little over the middle towards the upbeat side, if you can picture any type of a line graph at all right now. Or I don't know if line graph is the right word. It's a scale. We'll call it a scale. So, adding in the Spanish in there and adding in also Justin Bieber's voice, I'm a little biased because I am a believer, but it gives it a nice relaxed tone to it, and they all mesh together very well. Having 4 different people in a song cannot always go very well. I'm sure we all can agree that you'll hear some songs and there's 3, 4, 5, 6 different artists in them, and you're just like, this is an absolute train wreck. But this is not one of those songs. They go all mesh very well together, and it gives it such a relaxed tone. Definitely a song you want to sit back and chill to. Next one on the list is Come Around Me by Justin Bieber. It is off his Changes album, which came out February of 2020. This album was mainly an R&B album, according to Justin. Come Around Me was a song that was trending on TikTok at one point. A lot of people were trying to do the dance to it. I can't do the dance. I tried, embarrassingly failed. No one will ever see the video. But This is a slow down song as well, more, definitely in the R&B genre, and really good to listen to and to chill to. It's not too fast paced or anything like that. It's a love song type thing, talking about when you come around the person you love and act like you love them and miss them and all that kind of stuff. The next one we have on the list here is Black Coffee by Delacy. Delacy has such a unique, beautiful voice. I'm not too familiar with her work. I know a few of her songs. I discovered her when I was looking at some new music one day. I don't really keep up with what she's doing, but she sings so beautifully. And, she has such interesting songs. Like, how do I put this? I'd say a decent amount of music out there is almost the titles and the lyrics are somewhat predictable. The song Black Coffee is not really about black coffee at all. I mean, you could say it kind of is, but, it's about Delacy, you could say mourning, not even mourning, but really wanting this other partner in her life and talking about how much she cares and she loves them and she's very attracted to them and stuff like that. And then she, hits the lyric, I like to drink black coffee. So, and it's all very slowed down and it's very soothing to listen to. So it's definitely a song you want to chill to and, lay back and relax. It doesn't have you too up in the air or anything like that. The next song we have on here is Me and Your Ghost by Black Bear. This is probably my favorite song by Black Bear. Now, if you have heard the song, you might be wondering, why does she have this on a chill songs list? I have it on a chill songs list because it is almost you could say a revenge song against someone, because he's talking about, oh, we had all this time together and now we're not together anymore and your ghost is almost haunting me. Not really implying that the person has passed on or anything, but the thought of them is lingering just like a ghost would. So it's almost like a revenge breakup song type thing, but it's also a song you can chill and listen to because it's not too fast and it doesn't have too much anger in it, So if you're trying to chill and you're somewhat not a sad mood, but a downer mood, this is fantastic to listen to. The next one we have on the list here is Forever by Fletcher. Fletcher is another person who I would call an underrated artist. She has such a phenomenal voice. She has such, I'd say, unique songs as well, similar to Delacy. And I can't wait to, see what she comes out with in the future and how well she does in the industry. But so her song Forever is really interesting at first. The entire song, because, it's talking about how much, she would love someone forever and this and that, but just not right now. So she wants to be with that person in the future, but right now she wants to have fun with her friends and she wants to party. So I'd never really heard a love song in this direction. So I thought that was really interesting. The song is, definitely more upbeat, but I don't know. When I listen to it, it, relaxes me. So that's why I have it on this list. At the end of the day, I'm not the end-all, be-all of the most relaxing music to listen to. I'm sure some people out there, they do like to listen to waterfalls and rain when they relax. I am not that person. My boyfriend loves, the sound of rain and stuff like that, and it definitely relaxes him. Rain just makes me mad because my dog has to go out and she refuses to get wet. Anyways, so I have Forever on the list here because I think it's just a chill song because it's cool to listen to and it's not what you expect, when the song starts out. Next one we have on the list here is There She Go by Justin Bieber featuring Lil Uzi Vert. This is a song off Justin's recent album Justice on the Triple Chucks Deluxe version. A lot of the songs off that album are definitely chill songs. I put this one in particularly because of the beats and the lyrics. It's just kind of fun. Justin's talking about, you could say he's talking about his wife and how much he admires her and how beautiful she looks and how everyone else is admiring her and thinks she looks fantastic as well. And, she's just like capturing the whole room with her presence. And stuff like that. But it's not, too fast paced, and it's not too, it's not screaming or anything like that. Justin is another one of those people who has a very soothing voice to listen to. And in this song, he's not really hitting those major high notes that, you don't really want to hear when you're trying to relax. He can hit those high notes just like Ariana Grande and Mariah Carey and everyone else. But again, when you're trying to relax, it's not exactly something you want to, hear. And he doesn't do that in the song. So that's a big reason I have it on the list here. And I really love the song. Next one we have on the list here is Love Language by Kalani. I'd say this is, one of the top chill songs, in recent time here that's come out recently. It is about love language, just Kalani singing about, you want to do picnics in the park, what do you want to do? Like, what is your love language? And it is calming to listen to. Kalani has a great voice, and it's, again, very calming, soothing, and there's no super high notes being hit that, kind of almost if you have your headphones on, you're like, oh my God, I have to lower this. Or if you're anything like me, you're like, that's not loud enough. But so great song and very, very soothing and good to chill to. Next one on the list, we have You Got It by Vito. This is a song that was trending on TikTok, I want to say it was about 6-7 months ago. The chorus of the song that was trending was, go to the gym, get back fine, go get your bag, make your money. And that's how I first heard the song and, ended up adding it to my playlist. Vito has a really, really nice voice. It's more, it's not high pitched because that almost has a negative connotation to it, but it is on the higher side. I wouldn't call it deep. And he just sings the song very well. And, the lyrics are just kind of, confident, saying like, oh, you got it. You can go, you can do this, you can do that, go succeed, that kind of stuff. So very chill song to listen to. Next one we have on the list here is Magic in the Hamptons by Social House featuring Yachty. I just love Lil Yachty's name. Quick backstory, when I first got my puppy 4.5 years ago, my boyfriend at the time was obsessed with Lil Yachty, and he wanted to name the puppy Yachty. We did not do that. We named her Panda because her face looks like a panda. Anyways, back to the song. So Magic in the Hamptons, this is a chill song just like the Mood remix and Mood in general. I almost have the songs in, the same category as far as the beats and the tones and the people singing, because they all sound very, very similar, all very talented. I think Magic in the Hamptons is a chill song because, it's just about two guys and they're singing about, they want to take their like loved one, their partner out to the Hamptons and relax and have a good time and that kind of stuff. And, it's not too fast. It's not too loud. It's very relaxing song. Next one we got here is Stuck With You with Ariana Grande featuring Justin Bieber. Again, he's popped up a few times on this list by now. This song came out when we were a few months into the pandemic. They released it specifically kind of stuck with you as in, you're stuck in the house with whoever, whether it's your partner or your family, whoever. And they, just talk about no place you'd rather be but stuck with you right now. And like, this is actually really nice. And I almost hope this happens forever. That's what the song is about. It's very chill. Like, it's a good song to chill to because it is a cheesy love song at the end of the day, but it's really cute and it's relaxing. And Ariana and Justin both have great voices that go very well together. Next one on the list here, we have City of Angels by 24 Karat Golden. This song, I kind of, I debated back and forth. I was like, is this a chill song? Is this not a chill song? I definitely would call it a chill song because of 24 Karat Golden's voice. He is, I think he raps, he sings, and I would even call some of his music R&B. He does it all phenomenally well. And the song City of Angels, it's kind of even hard to even say what it's about. I mean, it's kind of just all kind of living that Hollywood life type thing is the best way I could think to describe it. So it's just kind of relaxing to listen to because he just, he says, sold my soul to the devil for designer and stuff like that. So I think it's chill to listen to just because it's fun. And, when you're relaxing, you do want to hear some fun stuff. So that's why I have it on a list. Again, this is stuff I chill to. My boyfriend often says that I don't know how to relax, so maybe that's why the songs on this list may be a little skewed. The next one we have on the list here is Dostres by Grande. I probably just botched that name and saying Dostres. Once again, don't know Spanish, not good at it, but I try anyways. I really like this song, and it's a great song to chill to because it is slowed down and it has a really good beat to it that I really like, the sounds in the background and all the instruments and stuff that work together to create the sounds. I think they are really, really cool and relaxing to listen to. You can sit down, you could lay down in your bed with your headphones on in the dark, or, if you got neon lights going, stuff like that, and just really, relax. And it's really good song to chill to. Hard to explain, but I definitely recommend trying it out if you haven't heard it, and if you're maybe just trying to relax and you don't want any too heavy stuff. The last one on the list here, I have Eye in the Sky by the Alan Parsons Project. Some of you might be familiar with the Alan Parsons Project, some of you may not. They are from the 80s. I'm only familiar with them because my dad was a huge fan and he played their music quite often. The song Eye in the Sky is a way, way, way slowed down song. I don't know if you exactly want to call it a love song, but, he's talking about, he's an eye in the sky. He can read your mind. He knows what you're thinking, knows what you're doing. There is some great instruments and sounds in it. And, the Alan Parsons Project, they all have great voices that make the sounds even better. So I know that is the black sheep out of every song I just named, because every song I just named is a pop song released within basically the past 5 years. And this one is from the 80s. And, if you know who the Alan Parsons Project is, awesome. If you don't, maybe go check them out. I like some of their music, even though they are way before my time, especially the song Eye in the Sky, really relaxing to listen to. Everyone needs to relax once in a while. I have a hard time doing it, but it is very, very important. And music particularly can really, put somebody in a chill mood to, kind of really shut down, take some deep breaths, and get to that Zen mode, you could say. After we come back from the break, we're going to talk about iTunes charts in the United States, their top 10, and surprisingly, what songs are breaking into the top 10 that I am very surprised to see. We'll be right back.
Watching TV has changed over time. Streaming has become the new norm. That's why Golden State Media Concepts television podcast dives headfirst to the world of cord cutting. Want to be on the loop of what's hot in Netflix? Or if it's not a preference, what about original shows in Hulu? We've got you covered. Join us as we fill in the blanks and talk about movies to stream and what show you should be binging. This is the Golden State Media Concepts television podcast.
All right, everybody, let's talk about the iTunes top 10 charts for the United States. You might be able to find some chill songs on here. I don't really look at iTunes charts often. I know they are some of the biggest charts that, artists look at and win awards from and, get a lot of their satisfaction from if their song or album or video is doing well on them. Because, Apple is one of the biggest companies in the world, and so iTunes is used by hundreds and at least 1 billion people. It has to be. I'm not exactly sure on the numbers, but it's a huge platform for music and all kinds of things in general. So it's widely used. I am a Spotify person. I'm sure you guys have seen the debates, Apple Music or Spotify. I'm Spotify, and I mean, it's nothing, really against Apple Music. I started doing Spotify back in like 2013 before Apple Music existed, and it just made more sense at the time. So, and I've just stuck with it ever since then. I am the only one out of like everyone I know that uses Spotify. Everyone else uses Apple Music, and they'll try and make fun of me. And I'm like, whatever. I like it, especially because it does this. Spotify Wrapped is such a cool thing to look at the end of the year. Anyways, though, so I took it upon myself to go look at the iTunes top 10 charts. In the United States. I looked at it on April 23rd of this week, and then I looked at it again on April 24th, and there were already a few, spots that were changed and switched around, and some songs came out of the top 10. So I thought that was interesting, and I thought there were a few songs on here that it was very interesting to learn about. So let's go ahead and talk about the top 10, and then I'm going to mention a few other numbers that I'm kind of surprised to see where they are falling. Number 10 on the list here, we have none other than Purple Rain by Prince. I'm embarrassedly going to admit this. I had never heard the song before until I saw it on the charts. I mean, I have heard of the song. I have not heard it though. I mean, everyone has heard of Purple Rain and heard of Prince himself, but I had never actually listened to the song. So after seeing it on the top 10 of iTunes, I went ahead and I listened to it. Personally, I'm not a fan, but Prince is an artist that defines a generation and the music industry. So I got to give him his creds. Even if I don't like the song, it does well. It's such a popular thing to this day, even though it's I want to say at least 30 years old. Again, don't quote me on that, but a huge song. I was, kind of thinking about, I was like, well, why is it in the top 10 right now on, iTunes? But Prince is just one of those people, kind of like Michael Jackson and Tupac, and it's like their music never really is going to go away. It's always going to be re-entering the charts on some way, shape, or form. People are always going to be listening to it. So, I mean, they deserve that 100%. So that's kind of why I believe the song was on there. People are always just going to, jam out to Purple Rain by Prince and so many other songs by him, just like with Michael Jackson and Tupac and people like that. Moving on to number 9, the song Lady Marmalade by Christina Aguilera, Lil Kim, Maya, and Pink. It is from the Moulin Rouge soundtrack. Again, I am a little embarrassed to admit, I don't really know what Moulin Rouge is. I've heard of it many, many times. So I guess this is maybe they just remade Moulin Rouge. Again, I'm not really familiar with it. I've heard it a lot, but listening to the song, I really like the song. Christina Aguilera has such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful voice. She is always, doing well with whatever she sings, no matter what she's singing about. The song Lady Marmalade, it's a little weird. I got to admit, I don't really understand what they're singing about or why they're singing about it. But if it's a song it's a song off a soundtrack, so it goes in a movie and it's something, it belongs to something. So maybe out of context, that's why I'm having somewhat of a difficult time understanding it. But, Christina Aguilera, Lil Kim, Maya, Pink, they all sound great together. And it is a cool song. I mean, it goes together well, even though I don't really know what they're talking about. I like listening to it. Moving on to number 8, we have The Good Ones by Gabby Barrett. This song I had not heard before, another one I had to go ahead and look up. And I like it. Gabby Barrett sings, one of my other favorite songs, I Hope. I'm sure you've all heard it. Trends a lot on TikTok, and it's a really, really big breakup song. Really, really, I don't want to say revengeful, but almost revengeful and spiteful. I mean, go off. She does absolutely great singing it, and I feel the passion. And whoever did her wrong, they deserve to feel bad from listening to the song. But anyways, this song, The Good Ones, kind of the opposite, just talking about the good people out there. They exist, good guys, stuff like that. So I like it. Gabby Barrett has a great voice. It's I didn't add it to my playlist, but I did like listening to it. I haven't really heard it anywhere else, so I was like, oh, why is this in the top 10 of the iTunes charts? But it may be doing so well because she recently just released a remix of her song I Hope with Charlie Puth. So maybe some of her other music is getting a lot of recognition, and that is why this is on the top 10 for iTunes right now. Next on the list at number 7, we have Peaches by Justin Bieber featuring Daniel Caesar and Given. We've talked about the songs a few times at this point. It's on Billboard, it's on Spotify, it's everywhere. I mentioned it when I was talking about, doing a review of Justin's Justice album. It is a good song. Again, not surprised. It is sitting here on the iTunes top 10. I believe it's in the top 10 of iTunes, Spotify, Billboard. It is holding its weight, and people are listening to it, and people are playing it. I'm hearing it everywhere. Again, I like the song. We talked about before, Billboard named it to be one of the most popular hits of the summer. So, again, not really surprised that it's in there at all. I really like the song. I don't see it really leaving the charts anytime soon on really any platforms. Next on the list here, we have 6. It is Drunk by Elle King and Miranda Lambert. I love Miranda Lambert. I love her music. I love her voice. I love her. She's an awesome person. She's beautiful, beautiful voice, everything. I like this song. One of my favorite lines in the song is they're singing, they're like, bartender, take my keys. I'm drunk and I don't want to go home. What do you want from me? And when I'm listening to it, it almost sounds like a person who seems to be very drunk and distraught and doesn't want to go home because they almost feel like the party's over if they do go home. Those are the kind of vibes I get from it. I do like it. Good to listen to. Elle King and Miranda Lambert sound so good together. Again, Miranda Lambert has a great voice. It is a country song for sure. I was a little surprised that a country song was in, the top 10 for iTunes because, you could also call The Good Ones by Gary Barrett a country song. They're both country songs. So I was surprised to see 2 country songs in the top 10 for the iTunes charts. As popular as country is, I feel like the iTunes charts, usually get occupied by pop and rap music the most. As I mentioned before, I do like country. I'm not, the biggest fan by any means. I would not say anything like that. So, but it's nice to see that, these country singers are they're getting more leverage, you could say, with their talent, and they're getting on the charts, and, people are listening to their stuff, because I feel like country sometimes gets a bad rap. I don't know what you guys think, but if you like country, I feel like there's 2 very different sides. It's either, you like it or you love it at one end, and then the complete opposite spectrum is you absolutely hate country, you'll never listen to it, and you'll jump out of the car if someone puts it on. I have one friend, her and her dad, they're both like this. They absolutely hate country, and, if they're in the car and it gets brought on, they are like so almost belligerent about it, and they're like, turn this off, or I'm getting out of the car, this and that. And so that's where I think the 2 spectrums of people who like country are. You're okay with it, or you absolutely hate it. It's so odd. I don't know why. I don't know if there's any genre of music out there that I hear and I'm like, turn it off or I'm going to rip my ears out. I mean, there's definitely ones where I would rather not hear than others, but there's nothing that I'm jumping out of the car if you play that genre of music. Some people are a little over dramatic about some things, but point is, I'm happy to see 2 country songs in the iTunes top 10. That's really awesome. Number 5, we have Levitating by Dua Lipa featuring DaBaby. This is another song we've gone over a few times at this point. It's staying within Spotify and Billboard and iTunes charts, YouTube. It's doing great. It's holding its place. Everyone is, loving listening to it. It's a great party song still. Dua Lipa and DaBaby, they're getting a lot of popularity lately, as they should. They're both very, very talented. I don't see the song leaving the charts for a while. I think this is going to be a song that in about 10 years, we're going to hear it and it's going to feel like a fever dream and we're going to start having flashbacks to like the pandemic, because this is almost a pandemic song, you could call it, because I mean, we're not exactly out of the pandemic yet. We're coming out of it, but we're not out of it. And this has been around for a few months now and it's popular. So we're going to have fever dreams and flashbacks to, the COVID era in about 10 years when we're wrapping up this decade and, going over music of the decades type stuff. Next on the list here, we have number 4, which is Ain't Met Us Yet by Matt Cooper. Never heard of Matt Cooper, never heard of the song, but good for him. Sitting at number 4 on iTunes. Awesome. The song is okay. To be honest, I don't really know why it's in the iTunes top 10. We've said it before. I am not the end-all be-all of a music critic or anything like that. I just listen to music and I like it, and I think I know what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, this is all opinion-based. If you like music, you like music. I personally wasn't a huge fan of this song. I liked it, didn't add it to my playlist. I wasn't, like, oh my God, like, why haven't I heard this yet or anything like that. It's kind of a slowed down song, and I don't know. I don't really like the lyrics that much, but it's not horrible, and it's Matt Cooper definitely seems to be like a talented guy. So I might, do some research to look in what kind of other music he has. Number 3, we have Leave a Door Open by Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak, and Silk Sonic. Again, this is another song we've talked about before. This is holding its weight steady on all the charts. I'm still not a fan of it. We talked about it a few weeks ago. We're like, well, maybe the song will grow on me. It still hasn't grown on me. I'll keep you guys updated if it ever does. But people seem to like it because it's not only does it seem to be staying in the top 10, it seems to be staying in the top 5 on multiple different charts and more than just United States United States charts. It seems to be on global charts as well. So, I mean, not a surprise. Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, Silk Sonic, they're all very talented. I just don't like the song that much. So, I mean, kudos to them. It's doing great. I hope, at the end of the year, it gets nominated for a Grammy or other kinds of awards, American Music Awards or Billboards or anything like that. But, so it's popular to people listening to it. So that's why it is where it is. Number 2, we got Astronaut in the Ocean by Mast Wolf. This is a song we've also talked about before that I discovered after finding it on, I believe it was the Billboard charts. It was sent at number 2 on there as well about 2-3 weeks ago. I like this song. I think it's doing great. I shouldn't say it is doing great if you look at the numbers, but I'm not hearing it played in places. And I mention that a lot because I think how much something is being played in public and on social media and stuff really sets up how well it's going to do on the charts, because the more streams, the higher it's going to be. But I'm still not really hearing it in a lot of places. To be honest, I'm not the most, it's not like I'm going out to the club and partying right now with everything going on. But I spend a decent amount of my time out shopping and stuff, doing, the errands and, those kinds of things. But, I like the song. I do. I'm curious as to how it's holding such great spots on the charts, within almost the top 5, almost every single time that I've seen it. So, and number 1, we have Save Your Tears Remix by The Weeknd and Ariana Grande. We just mentioned this song in our few minutes ago, talking about chill songs. This song came out on April 23rd, and it's been at number 1 ever since on iTunes, and I believe it's in the top 5 on Billboard and Spotify as well. I really like the song, as I mentioned. I like it so much better than just the original with just The Weeknd. It is a great song. Ariana Grande really makes it so much better. It is a chill song like we talked about, and I also believe it's going to be a song that defines the summer, much like Peaches that Billboard talked about and a few other songs. I'm really, really, happy that this song is doing so well because I think it is, defining that this kind of song is really kind of defining the music industry right now. I know it is pop, and pop does take over the music industry in most cases, which is unfortunate for a lot of artists. But I mean, pop is short for popular, aka popularity, for a reason. So, not surprised that this is number one, and I see it sitting there for a while. Considering the weekends in it, it may sit here like Blinding Lights and a few other songs for months and months and almost years on end. I do not see it going anywhere. There were a few other songs, on the iTunes charts that I was kind of surprised they were there, because, just it's just a big surprise. One of those was another song that, I haven't heard. It's been out for such a long time now, which is Lose Yourself by Eminem. That was sitting at number 12, so almost in the top 10. I was really surprised to see that it was so high up. I mean, it's a great song and everyone loves it, so it's not like hugely surprising, but I think it's always interesting when you see songs like that are so old, that are sitting so high up on the charts. But I think that says so much about how good of a song or an album something is. And Lose Yourself, is off the soundtrack 8 Mile that Eminem was in the movie, is a great song. I really love it. And I mentioned before, one of my favorite lines in is success is my only option, failure is not. Those are kind of words I live by. So it's, music is music at the end of the day, and no matter how old some things get, people are always going to love it. And like we mentioned with Prince, Michael Jackson, and Tupac. But I also always find it kind of interesting to see where music is sitting at for how compared to how long it's been out and where it is sitting on a chart. We have talked about a wide range of topics today, as usual, always keeping you guys entertained. I hope you guys can find some chill songs to listen to out of all the different ones we've talked about. And maybe you'll go check out Jake Miller, or Fifth Harmony. You could say some, I don't want to say underground artists, but maybe some not as popular ones. Thank you guys so much for listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'd like to ask you guys to please remember to subscribe to the show and write a nice review. It really helps us out. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know what you guys want to hear about. Stay healthy and stay safe, everyone. We will see you again soon.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.